She said it would only be like 5 minutes or less. So, okay. So we will start with the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we are on sacred land. I thought this was an interesting and important thing to review. The jobs of ESPs, like what your roles and responsibilities are. To assist teachers with maintaining learner-centered supportive environments, planning and organizing learning experiences, engaging children and youth in learning experiences, and assessing learner needs and progress. So really, teachers can't teach without your assistance. So they would all agree. Okay, this one is here. Melanie, you want to read that for us?
Every kid is one caring adult away from being a success story. Josh Ship.
Perfect. Okay. These are, Josh Ship is a motivational speaker and advocate for kids. He reminds us that at any given time, we have the power to make or break an educational experience for our students. Because of this, there are dispositions that are central to the role of all educators. Confidentiality, to respect the privacy and dignity of staff, students, and caregivers at all time. Professionalism, be honest, dependable, accountable, and coachable. Be a role model. Be the person you want your students to emulate, and have fun. Do what you love and love what you do. Sometimes that last one can be hard when kids are being knuckleheads. Cassie, you want to read this?
Never underestimate the power of your influence.
Okay, the learning outcomes. Today's training is on the alphabet. Know what it understands to know the alphabet. Learn the most common ways to spell the English phonemes. Know how to help students learn phonics and the phonic rules. Know how to help students with phoneme graphing mapping, and to understand the most common syllable types and syllable division rules. Okay. The Minnesota Read Act goal is every child reading at a grade level every year. It's kind of interesting that when you look at the data, it's like 50%, like it's low. So they're really trying to push getting more kids fluent with reading. Okay, we'll do a quick review. First session, Sochi, I don't think you were here for the first, were you here for the first one or two? Okay, so the first one we learned about the reading brain and the different parts of our brain and why literacy practices have like shifted in Minnesota. Welcome. I'm here. Great. You can sign in and grab some papers over there. Okay, word recognition and language comprehension are both important for children to read, and that is what is the best equation for reading comprehension. Okay, we learned about the Scarborough's rope. The second session was the last one we did. It was more about phonemic awareness, the sounds that the letters make, and we realized that the critical role of phonological and phonemic awareness, how it plays in being a proficient reader, and we explored the practices. We explored and practiced the effective strategies for our instruction. Okay. We went through the consonant chart.
That was the most interesting to me. Or was it the other one?
I think both the vowel one.
Both of them.
They were both very interesting, very empowering. Helps, like, I find myself like, oh, is it in the back of my throat or is it in the front of my mouth? Like when I'm speaking now, like where I'm creating the words, which I think is important for all of us to know. And also we can learn where kids are missing it. So if they're not saying the words correctly, or maybe they're not hearing it correctly, we need to, have their mouths in certain positions so that they can, do this. And once they have that phonological awareness, this, secured, reading will become easier. I thought that was interesting too. The sound boxes became a little bit confusing with the blends and the whatnot. I want you to know that the district all across, there was all sorts of emails sent to because there's a discrepancy between the really great reading program and what is taught in this. So they're trying to now make sure it's all along the same. But basically we want to build words and break words apart so that we become more fluent with wording. Okay, you guys came in at the perfect moment. You missed all the review and the acknowledgements. We are moving on to the alphabet knowledge today. Okay, what does it mean to know the alphabet?
Well, to visually recognize the individual letter.
Yeah.
And what sound it makes.
Yep, to recognize a letter, sound it makes, great. Okay. Okay, who wants to read number 1?
Alphabet knowledge, the ability to recognize, name, and write the letters of the alphabet, as well as understand the sounds associated with each letter, and that letters have meaning.
Okay, there's 3 parts, right? We recognize it, we write it, and we hear the sound. Okay, so there's 3 parts of knowing the alphabet. Have any of you seen the Broadway version of Matilda by chance? There is a song in it about knowing the alphabet. I should have pulled it up. Maybe I will at the end.
You could do it for us.
Do it at the end. Do it at the end. Yeah. You guys, it's so good. It's one of my favorites. Okay.
Yes, I know what you're talking
You know what I'm talking about?
I think we didn't have a movie day.
Let's have a movie day.
Lucy and I have
Let's watch
watched it
Matilda.
like 3-4 times together. It kind of obsessed.
What's that?
I said Lucy and I have watched it like 3 or 4 times
Yes!
together.
Like, the whole thing is full of these,
Yeah.
like, musical, like, masterpieces. Anyways,
I know.
so, the alphabet knowledge. So clever. How they have, like, the letters throughout that. The R, it took me a while to figure out. I'm like, R? But if you're saying it in a British accent, then it's R. So, anyways, okay. Here we go. Know the alphabet. Okay, spoken sounds can be mapped onto printed letters. Okay, and alphabet knowledge lays the foundation for future reading success. So really, getting kids in kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, if we can get that phonemic awareness, get their alphabetic knowledge when they are young, it really does make a big difference going forward. Okay, these are the skills that are acquired for alphabet knowledge. Okay, so this is the first on your stop and jots. It'll have gray stair steps looking on it. Here's the first page we are going to fill out today. These are the skills that are required. Okay, at the bottom we have recognition. This is when we ask the student to point to a letter. Point to the V. And they point to it. The next one is production. And this is when the students are shown a letter and they need to name the letter. So, what letter is this? After they can recognize the letter name, then you do the same thing with the sound. What sound does this letter make? This one I think is, both of these are good when you are walking kids from point A to point B. What letter is this? You see it on the wall, right? You see something on the floor. If you see, someone wearing a B on the shirt, what letter is that? What sound does the M make? Okay. the last one is writing. And this, you say, can you write the letter F? Can you write the letter that makes the sound T? Okay. The alphabet knowledge consists of knowing, okay? We need to know how many letters are in the English alphabet. 26, good. How many letters do the students need to know how to write? Not 26. Try it again.
33 or that 40, there's some, like the blends.
Nope, not yet, that's coming.
21.
It's actually 52.
52.
Because there's upper and lowercase.
I didn't think
Okay,
about that.
yep, I know, we're thinking outside the box. Okay, how many phonemes are in the English language? If you wanna write these things down on the side somewhere, or on there, you can too. Just so it's, this one, no, this one is more, oh, you're close, you're getting closer, Melanie.
44.
44.
Look
This
back
one
at
is
my notes.
44. There's 44 sounds in the English language. And how many graphemes? This is all of the sounds when you make them, putting letters together to make sounds. Any guesses? That's a guess.
So like, are you saying the blends in this
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
So.
Like BR.
21. Higher or lower?
60.
Higher. Oh, 182.
Higher.
300.
Lower.
It's fun.
206.
Higher.
273.
Lower.
250.
Ding 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 ding. Julie for the win. There are 250 plus, but because there's multiple ways to spell some of them. Okay, so letter instruction. Here we go. Okay, when working with students who are learning letter names and sounds, include the following components. You tell them the name of the letter. You show them the uppercase and lowercase, naming each of them. This is the uppercase M, this is the lowercase m. Tell them the sound that the letter makes. Then you point to a picture, show them a picture so that they can make a mental connection. B, bear, okay? And then you talk about what your mouth looks like when you're making the sound. So kind of like what we were doing yesterday with the E. Claire was trying to get a kindergarten not to say ah for eh. But it's tricky, right? Your mouth has to be in the exact right positioning for the sound to come out how we want them to say it. And then after we do that, then we write it. And the more we write it and say it and repeat it over and over again, the more it will stick. Okay?
So it's uppercase, they don't say capital anymore.
They say uppercase. Yeah. I sometimes catch myself saying capital.
Yeah.
They say uppercase and lowercase. Yeah. 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 Okay. Here we go. There's many ways to practice doing letter formation with kids. We encourage students to begin all uppercase letters from the top and go down. So if you see kids, doing A's this way, it's not a big deal. Technically, you're supposed to go like this, but they want it up, going down. Okay, spiral back each day to review the letters and sounds that we learned the day before, and always provide visual guidance for what letters should look like as an example. So you do it first, you model it for them, you have them do it, you do it together, and then you just keep doing that, okay? I didn't bring these pages. These are the pages, the handwriting pages, star, moon, earth, so you can say start at the star line. The teachers, I don't know that they use these.
Kindergarten used it last year.
They
I know
did.
that.
Okay. So, but it is helpful for kids to know which lines to start at. Sometimes it's like sun, like tree, ground, so they can see the visual. Oh, start at the trees, start at the sun. No matter, like, doesn't matter what it is, but to have that visual of where on those 3 lines to start. Okay.
When I teach a new letter, I follow a routine of explicit instruction. So the explicit instruction routine is I do, we do, you do. So first, you will describe and model the sequence of strokes in the letter. Then you will provide guided practice with immediate feedback. And then last, it's your students' turn to practice writing the letter independently. So let's see what this will look like in action. Now remember, we all have different terminology for the placement of the lines. Some of you may call it the sky line, the hat line, the shoe line, the bottom line, the dotted line in the middle. Just substitute whatever I'm saying for whatever terminology that you use. So first you will say, let's write the lowercase letter D. Draw a D on a large piece of paper. And then you will say, this is lowercase d. Watch me first. And remember, you're walking them through what they're doing. So remember to think out loud. Start at the top line and go down and touch the bottom line and stop. Without picking up your pencil, go back up to the dotted line in the middle and make a circle to come back down to the bottom line. Now, let's do one together. Have students to follow along as you describe and model the sequence of the letter. Provide feedback before you move to the you do part of the routine. Now it's your turn. Make 5 lowercase d's. Provide time for students to write. Which one looks the most like mine? Circle your best letter.
Moonline, orbit planet O. Take off to the moon, land the rocket. Moonline, orbit planet O. Take off to the moon, land the rocket.
How do you guys feel about this?
Seems complex.
Okay, I agree. I think it's too much of a story. It's too much to put into their brain. They're now thinking about rockets, and why are you thinking about a rocket when you're trying to do the A sound? Like, why not draw an apple? I don't know. So it's in there. I feel like it's also too complicated. Just so you know, if you see teachers doing that.
I have a question, because I notice how my daughter writes her Y, and she does the long tail first, and then she does the little slash. If we notice that they're not doing it the way, like, it's being presented in that worksheet, is that something that we should, like, get them to stop and get corrected right away so that they're not doing it wrong? I looked at her D example, and I can tell you, growing up, I always made the circle and then the back.
Then the stick.
I did the
They
stick and
the
then
stick,
retraced.
and then they came back up, so that's opposite of how I do it.
I feel like if the end result, it looks like the letter.
That's what I feel like too.
That's what I feel like.
So, like, we don't have to be very critical on how they are writing, as long as they have formed the correct letter as the
And
end result.
facing the right way.
Sometimes, but what I've noticed though, second grade, I think, oh, am I being too nitpicky, but it is taking you longer.
It does take
If
longer.
They're going for an E, this way
Yes.
around, and then,
I've seen that too.
it's like, that's complicated, more than just making it the traditional
Yes.
way.
I've seen like the T where they go from the ground to the sky. So
Yep.
like, and then like this way.
Yes.
And I've seen up from the bottom and one way, and then that way. to
Yeah.
the
I do
crossbar.
try to catch them, reminding them it's gravity on Earth, that everything starts at the top and goes
I
down.
say top to bottom. Oh, top to bottom, yeah, top to bottom.
Yes.
too much, you don't
And
know how
I
to do
think
it.
like ultimately it's so that it can flow when they get older, right? So that it is in this pattern, right? Your hand is going up and down, like as you're doing it.
For going transition to cursive.
Correct. Yes.
Cursive,
Yeah.
even cursive
Yeah.
in any version. Yeah.
When I sign my name, I
They
like
have
with
packets
my
like
letter
you do.
But it's
when I
like,
sign my
It
name,
used to be
that's what got my R.
circled.
Or like when you're yelling that and your eyes
Oh,
will
okay.
apart, or like a
I
little
think
bubble.
kids who struggle sometimes
People
spend a
retrain
lot of
themselves all the
time doing that, fine motor skills and avoidance of other
It bothers me because I know like that's
He's got
the right.
I know, you're talking
The
short one,
and I
long
see
one.
it, and I'm like, stop, like, do it the other way, but like, it's natural
It's
for
not
her.
worth the battle.
Correct, right.
Is what I think.
Yeah.
And if the end result looks great.
Correct. And that's if the end result is, like, if it becomes sloppy and you
Yes.
can't really read it and it looks like a J, then that's when you would go in and correct it, but.
Just like in art today, a boy went down and then went, just arced from the very bottom, so it looked like a crazy V.
Yeah.
And I told him, no, we're gonna redo that, that's in your name. And then I did the traditional, start down, lift up, and do the
Yeah.
hump up.
Okay. We are going to, you have this paper, the grapheme tiles, we are going to fill this chart out. Okay, short vowels. You know the difference between short and long vowels?
What'd you say?
Maybe do you know the difference between short and long vowels? So if I were to say, what are the short vowels? Would you know to say Okay. Long vowels say the name.
Say the name.
So A-E-I.
Sometimes
short.
I know.
The long ones. You want to do these examples, you can if you know them. Don't feel. An open syllable is the most common way for a long vowel to be spelled. An open syllable is a syllable that ends with a vowel and most often makes the long vowel sound. We will go more in depth about open syllables later on in the session. Long A says baby, long E says me, long I says cry, hi, oh, you. You got that. Okay, here is the vowel valley that we talked about last time. There's lots of different letter combinations that can make the vowel sounds, lots of adding a couple of letters together. We are going to go over the most common ways to spell using the two vowels. We will start with the long A, so we're going to go down this column right here. We already talked about the open syllable, which is the most common way to spell A, baby. The next most common way is the A line E, so like the magic E, right? Where you use the long vowel and then you have the consonant and then you have the magic E. Okay, like cake, rake. What are some other examples of magic E words?
Bake,
Bake.
make.
Yep. Right.
Just rhyming.
Yep. Rope. Okay. The next one is the AI combination, as in rain. And the last one is AY, as in play. There are 4 for the E. You guys wanna come up with them before I put them up here? E. What'd you say?
E.
E. Correct.
EY.
EI,
As in what word?
weigh,
Okay. Oh, yes.
like how much do I weigh?
Yes. IGH. That's an exception. Overachiever. Good job, Melanie. EA as in eat. The Y also says the E sound. And the E consonant E as in Eve.
Do they no longer make a long vowel sound or a short above the
They
vowels?
do.
They
Yep.
do still do.
Yes, the line and the smile.
Above
Yeah.
and, okay.
Okay, eyes. What other ways that can we spell I?
So the
IG.
Y.
Y, good, yep, Y, so a Y at the end,
What
good.
about a YE? By,
I, oh yeah, by,
like BY?
Yep.
E by.
B-Y-E, yep, good. How about light?
IGH.
I-G-H, good. What about, and then the magic E one would be bike. You can put by down here, if that was a good example. Okay. Okay, we'll move on to O. What are some variations with the most common O sounds?
OW.
O-W,
OA.
O-A, good.
Oh.
Kids can learn these spelling patterns within the graphemes, then reading becomes more automatic because they recognize these patterns and then can recognize them within words as they're reading. Okay, last one is U. U. Ruler, moon, screw, blue. This is where the English language is not very fun. Right, like these are all the exact same sound, and look at all these different ways that we have to spell it. And if they spell it a different way, you can't really blame them because
Right.
sometimes you see how kids spell things and it makes sense.
Yes.
Like it really, oh yeah, that's real clever,
Yeah,
but doesn't follow the rule.
just like today, the little boy who was reading the word Y goes, it's just Y. They should just have the letter
The letter
Y.
Y, texting.
Is what his thought was, Y, instead of WH-Y.
Exactly. And the U sound like in music. We have the magic E one on top. Tissue. Few. We will move on to the diphthongs. Next. This one's is a sliding vowel. So your mouth makes two different sounds while making it. The first sound is the ow sound that we're going to go through, as in ouch and cow. So you can like say them, your mouth is making two different shapes, cow, cow. But you say one sound, cow, quick, ow, ouch. Okay. The second one is the oi sound, like in coin and boy. Your mouth makes two different shapes to do this. There are two more vowel sounds. Sometimes they are called vowel variants. The first one is the ah sound, like in auto, ah, and saw. Okay. The sound is typically spelled A-U, like in auto, and in A-W, and in aw. The O-O letters can also make the ah sound, as in foot. Font. Let me wash my font. I'm gonna have to make note on that one. Okay. Just erase that from your memory. Okay, finally we will go to the R control vowels. Most linguists will refer to these as vowels. They are usually in combination with a vowel and an R. The R is usually spelled E-R, I-R, and U-R, as in per, shirt, and surf. And finally, the O-R sound, or A-R sound, as in car, or corn. One sound, two letters, blend them together. Okay, this is a review slide. You don't need to write anything down. Okay. There are only 5 vowels in the English language. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But there are 18 main vowel sounds. We have 10 long vowel sounds, 15 vowel variant sounds, and 18 R-controlled sounds. Total. This is the total sounds. Okay. Vowel Valley, we went through this before. The schwa. Who can explain what a schwa is? Okay. The schwa sounds the most common vowel sound in the English language. Banana. Right? Could be spelled with different ways, depending on the word that you have it in. It often sounds like a muffled version, kind of like, almost like a fake vowel, right? Sometimes it sounds like a short I sound as well. Can be spelled with any vowel. Confuse these kids just a little bit more. Okay, say these words in a natural voice and notice how the schwa sounds. Magazine. Say it. Magazine. Okay. What letter would you think should go there? U, right? Magazine. Right. Okay. Problem. Right? Like it's kind of always kind of like the U. Accident. Accident. Okay. Bottom. Muffled short U. Okay. Human. Blanket. It and Right, so it just becomes like, once we realize that there's all these variations. The schwa just comes in and makes life super fun and exciting. Okay, now we are going to move on to the consonants. We will continue as we go through. Okay, this is on your consonant page. B makes the B sound in boy. We don't need to go through these. You guys know the sounds, so let's right? Skip it. Okay, unless you have questions. Does anyone have questions?
So, question.
Yeah.
So why do we only accept, like, when we're doing sounds with the K, or, K
Yeah.
kids, we only accept K and G instead of, and then we're like.
Oh, instead of the
And then.
giraffe
and you
and
have to say,
city.
yeah, it does say that sound, but that's not what I'm looking for. And then they're like, what?
Right.
And it confuses them so much because they're just like, but it does make that sound. I'm like, but you're right, it does.
You're right, and that's a really good point. When they start kindergarten, in order to not confuse them even more, we stick with the hard consonant sound. And once they get older, then it's easier because they have all of those, like the traditional ones in their brain. Then they have space to learn, oh, and there's an exception. When there's an I after the G, or an I after the C, right? Like then they can start to learn. And usually about second grade is when they start to learn those variations of G. G is really hard because the letter name is J,
Yeah, and they always.
and they want to say J. Yes, exactly.
W's the hardest.
W, they want to say D.
Duh.
Right. Yes. I have found that a lot of the kids learn the alphabet, if you make like motions, they can connect. Like W,
Wave.
you wave. Wave. Right?
Yeah.
Wave.
I also
Right.
heard Cassidy frequently go wobble you.
Oh, yeah.
Just to say, oh, W, how come they don't call it wobble
Wobble you. I don't know.
Wobble
Right,
you.
because it's not even a W because it's this. It's a double V is what it is. We're gonna go with the double. It should be double V.
Double
It's
V.
not a W.
W.
I don't know. Maybe in Old English it was.
I think they did.
Did they?
I think they did. I've seen them like
The
that.
cursive
It's
ones.
something.
So maybe it was. Maybe it was initially a double. And then they did this. Anyways, let's move on. Okay. Okay. Do you guys want to do a stop and jot? Write down what you learned. Keep moving on. We'll just keep moving on. Okay. We are going to now move on to helping kids know the phonics rules to help them as they transition. So this will be like the phase after the alphabet recognition and knowledge. Okay. Okay, there's a page that has these foundational rules on it. The C always softens an S. A soft C, when followed by an E, I, or Y, oh, it's soft when it's followed by E, I, or Y. Otherwise, C says the K sound. Okay, so it's usually the K sound unless it's followed by the I or the E. Examples of a soft C would be center, circus, icy. So it matters what letters go next to it, which will let you know when to use the hard C versus soft C. There's a cat kite rule. Mrs. Reichs has some pictures around her room with the cat kite rule. The cat has the A, O, and U, makes a little face in there. The K sound has the I and the E, like in kit, cat, kite. It's a visual that you can use to know how to help them learn, right? You can present this to kids as they're. Okay, when the letter C says K, as in a hard C, it will be followed by an A, O, or U. by the I and E, it says use decay. Okay, G, Becky, you were just a little bit ahead of us. Also, it's the same idea. When it's followed by I or E, you say the soft G, J sound. Everything else is the hard G, goat, grass, green. I's and E's for both of them. C and G would do the same things. So at least they're consistent there. Be super confusing if it was the O's and A's for G's. There are no English words that end with V or J. These ones always stick a E at the end or make it into this.
Shortened, yeah.
Which word? Oh, like a rev and engine? Yeah, I guess those would be abbreviations for longer words.
Yeah, ravioli.
Foundational vowel spelling rules. Mm-hmm.
We're having wraps for dinner.
If a one-syllable word ends with the vowel Y, it always says the E sound, right? Or I sound, sorry. Too close here. By, my, and try. The Y says E at the end of multi-syllable words, like happy, funny. Q always needs a U, therefore U is not a vowel here. You would always need to add another vowel in order to make that word work. Queen, quit, quality. See, they all follow with the vowel.
Let's see it.
The long vowel says it's long sound because of the silent E. We already said that they do not end in V. Oh, this is review. The C says and the G says J because of the E behind it. Force, cage. Every syllable of any word needs a vowel. Examples are table, waffle, acre. If you would add an E at the end of a word to keep singular words at the end in the letter S, add an E to keep singular words that end in the letter S from looking plural. Examples would be house, purse, moose. I wonder how many rules there are in the English language. There's gotta be like thousands. So many rules. If you add an E, it makes the words look bigger. spellings after a short vowel. We often add a double consonant at the end of words with the short vowel in the middle, such as off, ball, loss, and jazz. The J sound is also spelled D-G-E after a single vowel, saying it's a short sound. Badge, ledge, bridge. How would these be non-examples?
There's no D.
There's no D. Rage. Do you know why? I don't either. Does anyone know why? I don't know. It's just a non-example. We can recognize the difference, right? Fine. Okay, the K sound is often spelled CK after a single vowel that says it's short sound. So this is when you know when you need to use the CK sound instead of just the C or just the K. It is after the vowel that says it's short sound. A, and back, neck, clock, and truck. The CH sound is spelled TCH after a single vowel that says it's short sound. Catch, fetch, splotch, and hutch.
I don't know, how often do people use the word splotch?
My face is splotchy today. I sometimes use that word.
Splotch. The splotch on your shirt.
There's a splotch on the wall. Okay. Now we will quickly go through how to help students know how to map the phoneme graphing connections. Okay? The phoneme is the sound. The grapheme is the letter associated with the sound. Okay? So the first example, the phonics allows us to map these graphemes into sounds in our language. In this example on this slide, the word shell has 3 phonemes or sounds. The first phoneme is sh. The second phoneme is the last phoneme is ooh. So even though there are 5 letters in this word, we only have 3 sounds. As you know, there are 26 letters in the alphabet. Graphemes are made up of letters, but they differ from letters in that they have units that represent phonemes in the alphabetic language. Individual graphemes may consist of 1 letter or 2 letters called a digraph, or 3 letters called a, 3 letters are called? Trigraph. Ding ding. Good job. Okay, let's practice this one. The first phoneme in this word is sh. Second phoneme is e. And the last phoneme is z. Again, there are 6 letters in this one, but 3 sounds. Okay, here we go. Okay, on your Stop and Jot page, here are some steps in the phoneme graphing mapping. Step 1, students count how many phonemes they hear in a word. In the example of the word cat, we hear 3 sounds. We Students use manipulatives such as cubes, counters, or puppets, whatever, to put these in sound boxes to represent each sound in the word. Okay, so you can put them in these boxes like we did last time, a poppet, on their fingers. There's different ways to map out the 3 sounds. The words. Students then remove the manipulative and write the graphemes instead of using the printed pages, the toys, fingers, whatever, and then they are able to write it down themselves. Then the students read the word after it's written. Okay, watch me do an example. The word is book.
We have a little more time on that slide, please.
Sorry. Good? Okay. So on the word is book, okay. On this, I'm just gonna show you quickly how to do this and then we'll finish up, okay? The graphing maps, I'm gonna say a word and you are going to write it down, okay? So the first one is the word match. How many sounds are in the word match? Match. 3. Okay, so there's 3. So you're going to use 3 boxes on this one. First box, you're going to write the sound. Second box, you're going to write the sound. And the third box, you're going to write the TCH. Good? Word is match. Okay? Do these 3 words and then we will finish up. Okay? The words are ring, wax, and cake. Ring, did you get it right?
No.
Okay. Wax.
I didn't get it right either.
This one's a tricky one. They put the X on here because technically the X sound makes 2 sounds. X, right?
Yeah,
So this
yeah.
is kind of between the 3 and the 4. So
Let's not confuse anybody.
agreed. Agreed. Trying to make your life so fun. The last one, cake. Cake.
So what, 3.5 then for wax?
Yes, exactly. Okay, do you have questions, comments so far? Do you feel a little bit more empowered with alphabet knowledge going forward, what the kids are being taught, how you can help them in your roles with them?
Yes.
10 minutes from now? I don't even know.
Sounds good. Go change the world.
There's the card going